As Roblox's player base began to exponentially grow in the late 2010s and 2020s, games became better suited to reaching the widest demographic possible. They became more optimized for all devices, easier to play and digest, and perfected their formulas to create games that could hook players into continuously coming back and grinding every day. Every minute detail works in tandem with each other. The AI thumbnails, the flashy UI, the constant reminders to add the game to your favorites and invite your friends. Does this formula create good games? No. While these games you could call slop seem to dominate the charts nowadays, the smaller, indie, passion projects that Roblox was once known for have fallen to the wayside. Zeekers, a popular Roblox creator, was known for absolutely cranking out bangers in the Roblox horror niche. Then he dipped when things started to go south, and then he made It Steals and Lethal Company. I wonder what kind of butterfly effect there would be if I went back in time and made it so that Zeekers won the Bloxy instead of that Moana-sponsored event. So Roblox's little niche horror scene has been on a drastic decline over the years. Sure, it still exists, but most people end up selling out and giving into the machine. Like, Weird Strict Dad is an indie game, but it's kind of hard to sympathize with compared to what we used to get. On the contrary, there were people that managed to harness the evil power of monetization and use it appropriately. These people rock. But alas, I ventured deep in the realm of niche Roblox horror games and found someone who has actively refused to give in whatsoever. After all, I'm Breadian and I talk about niche Roblox games. Please, I beg of you to subscribe, suplex the like button, and turn on notifications, because I would really like to hit 100k. Let's see the niche internet micro celebrity win so that I could give exposure to more niche games instead of just talking about doors. Part 1, Templum Inundatio. My first introduction to Draggyy was the game Templum Inundatio, which is a surreal Roblox game adjacent to something like Mugen. The game features a story that requires you to think and theorize in order to figure it out. But I like how it isn't just a bunch of mystery beats that don't go anywhere, like doors. In Templum Inundatio, you play as a water buddy, a cute little guy who's made of water. Once you spawn, you see a temple overlooking the sea. You enter the temple, where the game kind of doesn't give you a whole lot of direction on where to go. This probably leads to people clicking off the game and never playing it again. Probably why the game has no players. Niche games are not for the weak. Anyways, you make your way through the temple, finding a bunch of dead water buddies that are being absorbed by some giant plant monster. The game sees you solving some puzzles and coming across a lot of dead corpses. The game actually has a very creepy, surreal atmosphere throughout the entire thing, even though the only technical threats are falling to your death, being soft-locked, or being killed by some R6 zombies. It does such a good job at keeping its tone throughout. Even if the zombies are a bit tacky, they're really not the first thing I think of when I think of this game. The zombies and the puzzles are just supplements to the main focus, the crazy story. After you're making your way to the end of the temple, you come face to face with this eldritch plant known as Yggdrasil. I made a whole video on it a while ago, it didn't do well. Yggdrasil consumes you, and after you die, it's revealed through an ominous death screen that you were just one of many water buddies who were consumed by the plant monster, and that the ocean will soon form another and the temple will beckon for it in an endless cycle. It's a very neat, small little narrative for a Roblox game with a little bit of fantasy and cosmic horror and a surreal presentation. There's also a secret ending that's kind of goofy. You hold W and walk all the way to a village where you grab a sponge, awaken some sort of Nico's next spot PNG monsters, and bring the sponge to the temple where the game says you're a god killer or something because you used a sponge to dry up all the water, which leads to the plant dying. It's like the ending of Darkwood where you burn down the forest god, except a lot less violent. His second game is about suicide and giving up. You climb a tower and then you have to make it through a maze, evading a monster. If you die, it represents you giving into your dark feelings, where the ending is you overcoming those challenges and finding the beauty in life. Both of these games are nice. I really enjoy how these little stories that have you figure them out and analyze them and reward you for doing them, unlike other Roblox games. Biggest weakness of these games is one, Draggyy, the creator, decided to put them on an alt because I guess it's mysterious. But in reality, it just segregates your body of work and less people will know about it as a result. I hate this. Don't do this again. If you do it again, I will hurt you. Another thing I dislike about these games is a lot of the technical aspects and choices. The biggest one is a lack of direction and a lot of opportunities to die or be soft-locked, which can be frustrated for Roblox's primary audience. It's also incredibly damning because death means that the game doesn't just restart, it crashes, like you have to go into Task Manager and close it out. Because the concept of letting the player leave the game like normal is apparently beyond Venishing 40. Because it's a Mugen game? Stupid. I hate this. Don't do this again. If you do it again, I will kill you. Next question was, what about Vision? The fans yearn for Vision, yes? Or no?
Yes, because it's the remake of Visio that isn't made in 3 days and not content slop.
Explain what Visio is. I haven't played it.
Bad.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know when it's gonna come out. I have an internal date planned, which you know, but I'm not telling them.
I know. 2026.
But
Yeah, I remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
I'll
I
have
don't
like
know.
4 kids by then, but I'll find time.
Then you have more people for your recording. You have a whole video team.
Oh yeah, I'll be like FGTV, you know, and I'll have like millions of dollars.
Did you just do the ultimate sleeper night? Yes, you did. Did you just crash?
It's a black screen with a.
Yeah, that's not funny.
Templum seems to have like this completely almost darker tone than the other games. Is there like an intention for that?
It was just mainly just to be like unnerving and spooky mainly. And I was partially inspired by the game Lost in Vivo. If you know what that is, it's a really good game, at least to me. It's one of my favorites. I wish to go more dark. It's usually that my games, honestly, like from my perspective, because I'm like I know the story, they are dark. It's just that visually they aren't, because the whole point of like Turris Essentium was the whole like suicide implication thing. That's what the ending is of like the guy standing over the edge of the building meant. It's meant to imply that he jumped. That's basically the gist of how I describe most of my games. It's like they don't look dark, but the lore is dark. I just talk about topics I deal with, kinda.
Part 2, Cookie Fun Time. Another game created by Draggyy is known as Smile, a game that was recently covered by Rogert, a man who thinks that the most noteworthy things about Draggy's games are the fact that 0 people are playing them. The previous video is called the Roblox horror game where you are alone. It's a single player game. It doesn't matter if the game has 0 players, you're still alone. I didn't play the game and I don't want to. It's probably ass. Edit. I played the game. It was ass. Okay, do I have to recollect all of these orbs?
Yes.
Can you just show me what the ending is, respectfully, so I can get back to work? I don't want to be mean, but like, can you just show me?
I told you why I don't like this game, Breadian.
All right, if it's like weird strict debt, I can buy my way out of it. This is not a situation. I cannot pay to win.
The ending is a PNG. I have like 2 problem child games, Smiley being one of them. The other is an old bendy roleplay I made.
I'd like to know about those 2, actually. Would you give me a little bit of a brief description?
They're like the 2 main things that have blown up, and I hate them both.
I'll have to check it out.
You probably will not like it, and that's a good thing. And if you do like it, I'll be really sad.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I think my favorite game by you is Cookie Fun Time, even though it's just an April Fool's joke, apparently. Cookie Fun Time was a game created by Draggyy as an April Fool's joke, which is quite funny because its quality is insane for a joke game. It's my favorite game by his, and I never pick favorites. Speaking of favorites, the game only has like 200 of them. Nobody knows about this game, and Draggyy doesn't push it since it's just a joke game to him. But I would really like to showcase this game for you guys, and also promote the game for you. Go play it, after you're done watching my video, of course.
I mean, it has a lot of effort in it, so I see why people like it. I don't mind them liking it, because I think it's a good game.
Cookie Fun Time is a horror game that's meant to parody or serve as a piss take of mascot horror games such as Poppy Playtime, Five Nights at Freddy's, and Garten of Banban, I think. The game starts in your nice little house where you drive to your new job at Mr. Choco's factory. In the words of Markiplier, nothing bad ever happens on the first night.
First night is never usually that bad in any of the games, so I'll play through.
You complete your shift. Night 2 is where things get a little freaky. A new area of the map has opened, the tours area. There's a good amount of lore to read on the walls, which explain the history of the company. You don't have to read this though if you don't want to. The most important detail is the company's founder, Edward B. Crunch. Damn, he's got the middle part, the innocent look on his face. Reminds me of another horror game character. Wait, what's that ominous scratching noise? Through a cassette recorder. Who the fuck uses cassettes? You hear this.
I know, I just find it weird. Because didn't you say mental capacity is dropped or whatever? I mean, what would Tiffany and the others think knowing... Okay, fine. I'll drop it, just... Wait. Is this thing on?
It appears your mental capacity has diminished as well to not erase the tape, or perhaps he didn't fully record over it. Okay, employee boy. Also, why the hell is this cardboard cutout staring at me in an unsettling way? And then comes the freaky part. You come face to face with Mr. Choco. Weird Strict Dad did it better. 6 out of 10. Game is terrible. Mr. Choco should have killed you instantly and sold a revive to you. You investigate the scratching noise after your encounter, which turns out to be the back scratcher, a small robot with a serrated blade for an arm, created specifically to be a back scratcher. He apologizes for the disturbance, saying that Mr. Choco specifically instructed him to scratch upon the walls. Then he goes to bed. The back scratcher does not serve much of a role in the plot, it's just there to be cute. And I like it! When this character popped up, I honestly thought it was gonna do the thing where the underdog character comes back in the final battle and hits the villain while his guard is down. I'd be sword fighting Mr. Choco in a burning building, and then Mr. Choco has me pinned down, gives a monologue about how he's about to murder me, but then the back scratcher comes out of nowhere, stabs him in the knee, and then while Mr. Choco is kneeled down, I take the sword and say a cool one-liner and stab him in the face. Where the hell was I? Night 3 is where things get a little freaky. The Mr. Choco statue is gone, and there's a cookie gas leak inside of the McDonald's play place. Kids were getting lit off the nitrous. We can't have that in Robloxia. So you start off the night by cleaning some shoes, the infamous Find 5 Items quest during a horror game, except this one isn't shitty. It's just a small quest to get you to walk around the room, immerse yourself in the environment, and it's cute, and I like that. And then you have to go turn off the cookie gas leak, and you go to the back room, where it's incredible gassy back here. Things slowly start getting a little weird as you begin to inhale more and more of the gas, and a creepy cardboard cutout of Mr. Choco appears to follow you around, almost as if it's haunted. Things just start turning weird. There's lots of hastily drawn scratches with the marker tool, there's scribbles over the FNAF sister location signs, and the Mr. Choco cutout keeps following me around. This one's different than the others, it's creepy.
I'm gonna brown.
What?
The game whiplashes you into a new setting, putting you into a dreamlike state. A house with cardboard cutouts of Mr. Choco and his wife. Here's a story for impatient people, aka Roblox players. Edward finds a possessed Mr. Choco cutout in his basement that mysteriously appeared there. The possessed cutout says that Edward is getting old, and he's disabled, and he'll die soon. He proposes a deal for him. That he can take the stress of managing the company off of his shoulders. He can make him walk again, but all he has to do is do him a favor in the future when he asks. You could just sell the company, Edward. And I mean, if you're tired of the wheelchair, I can be your new chair, but apparently it's more than that. Edward has a lot of overwhelming paparazzi for a CEO in a wheelchair. Celebrity culture sure has changed a lot, hasn't it? Edward talks to his wife about it, and she says she'll always stand by his decision. Then you get transported back to McDonald's play place, where Nightmare Mr. Choco chases you. Yes, his name is Nightmare Mr. Choco.
Hey, friend. Let's bite down together. In 3, 2, 1.
Was that the bite of 87?
Nightmare Mr. Choco is relentless, running at us on all fours like an animal. We run as fast as we can, dodging obstacles during our frantic escape. Wait, Dead by Daylight loop. We managed to escape the nitrous-infused nightmare and clock out for the day. Night 3 has you turning off the power in innovation as someone forgot to turn it off, but still had time to write it on the cork board. Night 4 also has you exploring the innovation area, but that haunted Mr. Choco cutout appears again. And then look behind you, it's FNAF 3 reference! Better use a bucket of water. Good enough. Now it's time to escape because shit's getting real. Good thing the back scratcher left some arrows for us. Who needs yellow paint? Then the game turns into Amnesia, where you find yourself at a very familiar temple where this all began. You find some notes about the employees of the company who searched long and hard to find the Ghostwalker stored. An old reference to old Roblox that can resurrect the dead. The employee notes that they tested it out on some random soul and they now possess a Mr. Choco cutout. I bet he's a little upset about that. Explains why he's such a massive bitch. The temple being conveniently placed under the factory reminds me of Amnesia, a machine for pigs, where the whole plot started because the protagonist traveled to a Mayan temple. But that Mayan temple is located in the machine in London. Like the workers found the temple and moved the entire thing to their area of operation. Like, the workers can't be like, oh, we were searching forever for this ghost walker, but we also decided to bring the entire temple with us. Like, it's not like they were looking forever for something that was right underneath them, were they? But apparently Draggyy hasn't played Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs. I would have bought it for him, but it was full price, so I bought him separate ways instead. You come across Mr. Choco again, who turned out to be Edward, the CEO. When he made the deal with the entity, he was forced to play the role of Mr. Choco. And, it's been 50 years. All your loved ones are dead? That's okay, I'm right here. Mr. Choco wants to be free from this hell, so he instructs you to take the exit out of here while he dies in a fire. So there's this cool sequence where you have to run from the fire. Very satisfying ending, very sweet, and the back scratcher survived. The music is a brilliant addition too. So that's the end. Really good game, I recommend. No, I insist that you play it in order to digest the full experience, the full cookie. The link is in the description. In conclusion, Mr. Choco can get it before and after the transmogrification. Part 3, VSP. VSP was released in 2021. It's a very, very simple game where you collect 5 things in a dark maze while a monster chases you. This somehow managed to enthrall many, many people, which surprises even me. Like, obviously Weird Strict Dad is a piece of shit, but I'm not ignorant as to why it's successful. That goddamn smile is just so addicting, apparently. And it appears the curse is here too. Yellow guy chases you in a badly made game, has a giant smile. I think we're onto a formula, guys.
Also, that NPC you're talking to, were you talking to it?
Yeah, I was.
That's based on real things people have said. Smiley is my problem child. It's the best way to describe him.
Draggyy is not the biggest fan of Smile, mainly because it brought a lot of people into his little fandom that are less than pleasant. I don't know.
There's like a whole community like around the old Smiley game and the old designs, calling like the old ones better. And they're all like model stealer type people. It's a doozy.
And it really confuses me, genuinely, because of all the games that you can obsess passionately over, you chose this one. Like, there's no story, there's no creative map design, all you have is this character, which is enough to get this thing into brain rot content farms, by the way. This is legitimately the only time I think I have trouble understanding the science behind a Roblox game success. And the thing is, people got really pissed off at Draggyy for not updating the game and making other games that are actually good. It is very strange, and it's kind of like the Ship of Theseus principle, because when these Smiley fans glaze Smiley, they aren't thinking about VSP. They're thinking about their own idealized version of Smiley. Smiley's identity lies not in its own game, but in everything that surrounds it. It doesn't help that Smiley is based off of a Japanese horror game that is very similar. It's just so strange that of all the things Draggyy has made, you pick this one to act like a shitter over. I mean, you are just kids. Actually, no, I wasn't acting like this when I was a kid. Fuck you. Wait, so that's the game that people are like...
Yes! You see why I hate it so much now.
I'm having difficulty understanding it, because FNAF has the lore and the furry. You don't have either of those in that game. I don't understand what they're latching onto, respectfully. Like,
I don't know.
I think it's just the character, but like removed from the environment.
There is role plays based on this game.
There's only one character, correct? Well, as of now.
There's the character in the game, and then they're like his friends that never got added, and they used them. But what is there to roleplay about?
Part 4, Dog Watching. Dog Watching is a FNAF fan game made by Draggyy. I don't want to write it off as a FNAF clone, but if you've played FNAF or any other FNAF fan games, most notably any of the FNAF fan games that use the toxic meter in the top right, you'll immediately understand this game. Dog Watching is based off of FNAF, and Dog Watching 2 is based off of FNAF 2. I'm truthfully not a fan of Dog Watching, mainly because I enjoy Draggyy story-driven games much more, rather than trial-and-error type games. If you've never played FNAF before, which many kids on Roblox haven't, then you'll probably like this game. But to me, I've seen and played this stuff before, so it really doesn't surprise me with anything fresh mechanically. That being said, I still think they're worthy of checking out. The style is cute as always, the game just isn't my cup of tea, but I still think it's good. Just because you like or dislike something doesn't automatically mean that it's good or bad. Most of you already know this, but people in the comments don't. Part 5, Conundrums Challenge.
You're gonna be brutally molested by 16 autistic clowns.
Conundrums Challenge is a game that I didn't know existed until last night. It's a short adventure where you accept a clown's challenge where if you do all 3 tasks, then you get a wish granted or something. Honestly, this guy had me gaslit. All the signs telling me you can do it, and then bam! After completing all 3 challenges, he puts you in a prison forever. Oh fuck, what the shit?
And that is the final enemy. So their name is Anxiety.
This game was not made with future lighting, and this is exemplified through a segment on the 3rd challenge where an obstacle isn't properly lit, which may cause you to walk into it. What? Oh.
You got sawed.
For YouTube when I... Is there my doll? Draggyy updated the game just for me. Conclusion. Draggy's games are hidden diamonds in the rough. I find it so refreshing and oddly inspiring that a man can continue to make games that he's passionate about, even though they aren't financially viable.
I'm just in it to make games right now. I just enjoy making horror games. And also kind of out of spite because I feel like most Roblox horror games aren't good.
Draggy's games are a throwback to when creators in Roblox just did things because they wanted to. A lot of people who do cover your games, particularly one of them, they always put 0 players in the fucking thumbnail for some reason. I guess that's attraction.
Yeah, I've noticed.
You don't seem to see a whole lot of success in numbers, I should say.
Yeah.
How do you remain motivated every day to keep doing what you're doing?
And mainly just because of my actual community, not like the people who just come and go from YouTube videos like that. And like I said, I just enjoy making them. I don't really do it for a profit or anything. I just make them because I like it. It's fun. And I get to express myself through Eldritch horrors.
You can tell this guy really cares about his characters and all that because he has entire character index and it's crazy long, like holy shit. The devil could have whispered in Draggy's ear and he could have sold out and made chapter 2, 3, and 4 of Smile and maybe a book 2, but he didn't. If Draggyy was looking for treasure in Indiana Jones 3, I would trust that man to not grab the grail. Weird Strict Dad would grab the grail and fall into the pit. As always, be sure to check out these games in the description. Cookie Fun Time only has 200 favorites. What world allows this to happen? As always, I'm Breadian. I talk about niche Roblox games. Be sure to suplex that like button, subscribe, and join my Discord. Also, if you made it this far in the video, I might be making a game on Roblox. Here's a sneak peek for you. Mr. Choco can get in.